And Johanna, have I missed you?
No, I'm hopping in.
Okay. All right, we are recording and streaming.
Right.
Ready to go.
I will call to order this Thursday, April 24th, 2025 meeting of the Moab City Planning Commission at 6:04 p.m. First item of business, or I should say, in attendance, we have city staff Kelsey Garcia, Johanna Blanco, and Corey Shirtliff. We also have planning commissioners, myself, Kai Marienfeld, Jill Tatton, and Carolyn Conant. We also have someone in the audience who maybe, are you?
I'm representing Care Construction for Jasper.
Okay, awesome. So you are the applicant for tonight. So we will hang on with you, just making sure we didn't have any citizens to be heard, which I don't believe we do for our first item. And we also have our city council liaison, Luke Wojciechowski, in the audience as well. We did not receive anything via email. There's no one in chambers, so I'll move on. Next item of business is our approval of minutes from our April 10th, 2025 regular meeting. Have y'all had a chance to look those over?
Make a comment that
Yeah.
I had made some amendments to that with the direction of Eve about the acronym for SIA. I believe I changed it everywhere that it showed up, but if there, as you were reading it somewhere else that talked about sustainability impact analysis, that would be incorrect. It is a subdivision improvement agreement.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, with that note on this particular amended, so these are currently.
They should be ready. Yeah, they
Okay.
should be current and
Great.
correct.
Awesome. We can entertain a motion if anyone would like. Excuse me.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Moab City Planning Commission.
All right, we have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I will go ahead and second that.
All right, motion from Carolyn, a second from Jill. All in favor of approving our minutes from our April 10th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next item of business. We have our one and only action item from this evening, action item 4.1, consideration and possible conditional approval of planning resolution 07-2025, a planning resolution approving the Jasper at Mill Creek Apartments major change amendment to the approved level 2 site plan on the property located at 1537 Mill Creek Drive, Moab, Utah 84532. This is a discussion and possible action.
Okay, well, we're getting back into the swing of things with PowerPoints for y'all. So enjoy.
Sweet.
We are talking about a major change to the Jasper at Mill Creek site plan up here on Mill Creek Drive. Our applicant for tonight is Jake Candor. We're talking about a 160 unit apartment development in the C4 zone. A little bit of background today. Our applicant is requesting a major change amendment to the site plan that was approved in 2023. He submitted all of his materials on March 25th. Then we've gone through DRT and we're ready for you tonight. There were a couple of comments on the DRT review that needed some more materials, and those were submitted on the 15th and 16th. The narrative is a bit lengthy, so I will leave that to our representative tonight if he'd come speak once I'm done with my briefing. This is the approved site plan from 2023. The unit number and types are listed. And then I'll give you a moment to look at that site plan. And here's the new site plan. This is just a phasing change. So as you can see in the bottom here, we have those same unit types and counts now just broken up into phase 1 and phase 2. The process we have cooking is we've determined that this is a major change because that is phasing is outlined in the code as a major change. And we brought it here tonight because in the code it says it'll be referred for review for the original land use authority, which was you all. The motion recommended by staff tonight is a conditional approval with these listed conditions.
Which maybe just for sake of explanation, I'll jump into a little bit of background on. With these three, it's our understanding right now with staff that they are in the process of completing these, or they're not quite to the place of review that we could have removed them for tonight, but are in the process. First being the verification. There is, if we were to go back to a phasing grading plan, an amount of fill that's necessary to be placed on the adjacent property owner side supportive fill to establish this site. So we are waiting for an agreement to verify that that's an acceptable improvement on the neighboring property to support them, as well as the outstanding DRT comments issued on that report specifically to geotechnical, which has been submitted and I think are satisfied or satisfying with the engineers. And then lastly, that there is also a boundary discrepancy that was in the northeast corner of the property. So to the top right of our screen when we were looking at those site plans, where there was overlapping title issue. It since has been resolved. They've clarified the deed or deeded in cured by conceding that portion of the property to that neighbor. However, what that has done is removed portions of their, for lack of term, buffering and grading the side development area that brings a portion of the property directly to the circulation area. So we're needing their engineers to ensure that given the grading and how they're going to do this, the piece of slope grading that was necessary, the supportive grading, which they're doing on the other neighbor's property, which they'll have to do something similar on this property. So they're sorting that piece out. That's been pretty well conveyed, I think, to the applicants and project team. They are working with the building department right now to advance building permits and their grading being able to continue within that certain scope for this phase one, but building permits will be subject to these conditions being resolved first. So I think that rounds out the conditions of why we're coming to you with these three in particular. I will note we do have Jake Cantor in the waiting room of Zoom World. And then we did have representation as far as Kira Construction, who's going to be working on site, specifically getting the grading going more immediately, but only if the commission is interested. But I think that concludes our briefing.
Great. I think that makes sense. Could you pull up the area map again for this? I suppose I can on my own computer here too.
It might be kind of hard to see, but you can actually see the overlap in that northeast corner, the top right of the parcel. You can actually see the boundary overlap issue that has now been resolved, but was a bearings issue as we went through the original approval, where it was the documents were all there, but the way it was portrayed in the layering system, it was not caught that there was an overlap of that deed.
Sorry, I'm just rereading something here. I want to pull the applicant in, or if there's anything that anyone in chambers would like to add, or the applicant
Sure.
come online,
Yeah,
that would be great.
Jake's in the chamber. He's Jake, you can go ahead and unmute if you'd like, and contribute any additional points or summaries if you'd like.
Yeah, just introduce yourself.
Hey,
and full
everybody.
name at the beginning.
Hello, this is Jake Cantor speaking, the applicant for this one. Thanks for having me here to start it off, and thank you guys for going through the background and kind of the summary of this. did a good job of explaining it, so thank you. Yeah, so the boundary dispute was something that, we didn't catch either in the first round of approvals, or sometime after that, when we went to get financing, the lender actually brought it to our attention. So we got in contact with the neighbor that owns that neighboring property. And basically what we decided to do is to deed that overlapping portion just to the neighbor, free of cost, to kind of resolve this issue. The area over there, like Corey mentioned, the new boundary does cut pretty close, if not right up to the planned street there. So we are planning on addressing that and, using the engineers to sort out how to make that compliant with the code. But that area is all within the phase 2 area. Phase 1's on the west side of the site, on the exact opposite side. So we don't plan to be doing any work over in that corner at all until we begin the phase 2 build, which likely won't happen for at least another year. So that's kind of the background and where we stand in that location. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Jake. Carolyn, Jill, any questions?
I remember when they came a while ago, so yeah, I've just been going over it, and I don't have really any questions just because I have background on this, so I don't know if you have any questions, Carol.
Or comments? Discussion?
Comments,
Open it up for discussion now.
Mhm. All those things.
I don't have any questions at the moment. Seems like a fairly straightforward as far as major changes go. The phasing approach, I think it makes sense to be starting on the west side of the property, given the changes that will be needed to kind of react to the property boundary change. Could you pull up the original plan again, please? And so how has the timeline for construction changed with the phased approach? Because it looks like in the original approved site plan, all of the buildings were going up at the same time, and now you'll be starting with the 4 westernmost buildings. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, the original plan was to build all of those 8 buildings that you see on the screen there, all at the same time or kind of sequentially. Now we're splitting into 2 phases, as the major change indicates, and we're going to be doing those 4 buildings on the west side first, and they will be built all pretty much at the same time. They're going to be built sequentially. One foundation will be done, the foundation crew will move to the next building, then on to the next, and then the following trades will follow behind, kind of thing, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it's just those 4 buildings on the left side, phase 1, and phase 2 are the 4 buildings on the right side.
And you said that would likely be about a year out at the earliest for phase 2?
Yes. Yeah. So the first phase, we're anticipating taking approximately 13 months to be completely built. And then at that point, we plan to roll right into the phase 2 4 buildings, which should take approximately a similar time frame. If we were going to build all 8 at once, the time frame would be a little shorter, but since we're doing it in 2 phases, time frame will be a little expanded.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments from staff or anyone in chambers? All right.
I don't.
There is a recommended motion. If folks would like to conditionally approve the planning resolution this evening, we could continue it with specific direction to staff about additional information we might need, or deny the major change amendment, if there are specific findings for that decision. We can entertain a motion. There is, I think, if someone's making the motion, you can probably say with the following conditions, number one, read the conditions, and A through C or
Yeah.
something in a
Mhm.
line.
Mhm.
We won't make anyone but Miles read this.
It's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion.
Jill?
I move that the Moab City Planning Commission approve Planning Resolution 07-2025, a planning resolution approving the major change amendments to the Level 2 site plan for the Jasper at Mill Creek Apartments on property located at 1537 Mill Creek Drive, Moab, Utah 84532, with the following conditions. 1, all outstanding comments shall be addressed to the satisfaction of the Moab City Engineer and Planning Coordinator prior to building permit application approval, including A, B, and C as disclosed, the recommended motion.
Great. Perfect.
Mhm.
We have a recommended approval motion from Jill. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, second from Carolyn. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes 3-0. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was easy.
Yeah.
Super.
Too bad.
Straightforward.
All right.
What do we have next?
Moving right along. As far as future agenda items, we at this point will be anticipating a public hearing and recommendation by planning commission on a text amendment to our subdivision ordinance, further refining the signature authorization approvals, in that we've adjusted the process and the authorities that no longer needs to go to planning commission or city council. So it really doesn't make sense for you guys to be required to sign off on these plats that you're not reviewing in the first place. So we're gonna make that minor amendment. With this update, it's possible we may even come back with some more procedural updates we had spotted, but this one is more of a housekeeping item that we're trying to evolve a bit more beyond letting these types of things build up, where it becomes this big beast of an ordinance that we'd have to, if there's a problem, we're just gonna go through the public process and try to clean it up. That being said, we are still well in the depths of our title update and activating internally, like I had updated on last meeting. So in some capacity, we'll maybe be making these changes on the route to that title update, but we did just meet with our consultants and formally reevaluate the schedule and scope to say, hey, we're going to take this back in-house for a little while and really try to get our hands around it. So as of now, I think that is all we have for the 8th. I'll look at staff if there's anything else coming through DRT that could be ready as well.
Well, I've been working on materials for the 8th today.
Oh, yes. Yes, that is one that is pending. So that's one like we'll likely see. So
Yeah, I don't know when we talk about, it doesn't matter.
No, I think if it's, likely coming for our next meeting, I think I'm comfortable with giving a little bit of a preview. But yes, that one, and then also Lost Springs for their condominium conversion, technically, even though they're in the process of building, it'll technically be a conversion of a site plan to a condominium. They're going through DRT right now, so there may be elements in that push them out another meeting again, because we're gonna try to keep, especially for that particular item, a full threshold for a review time. But I'll let Johanna talk about maybe one of our other items we'll see on the 8th.
Yeah, perhaps, the Expedition 88 restaurant if in Red Cliff Hotel, seeking, parking special exception.
Got it.
I think that's it.
Wait, Expedition 88 is in Gravity House, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So they're wanting to formalize as a full restaurant, meaning advertising full capacity as opposed to what would be an amenity eating use with inside the hotel. This gives them a lot more of a robust land use entitlement. So they're going to wield that in the form of advertising and kind of full tenancy use.
I knew there wasn't enough parking at that hotel when we were tasting that. We said that from the jump.
Yes,
All
I
I'm gonna
think
say.
there are some plans, and you'll see this, that we've been working on for, gosh, over 2 years at this point, for them to lot line adjust into that south lot, the old Ford dealership,
Yeah.
to expand. Right now, they're putting that potentially on pause, which for this eating establishment, the
Expedition 88.
thank you, Expedition 88 restaurant, just doing some off-site, kind of your standard off-site parking exception. So it would not be that they're looking for being granted an exception for these spaces, just the planning commission used to be the land use authority for conditional use permits for shared and off-site parking. We don't use conditional use permits anymore, so therefore if they have the parking and it's there, it's more or less administrative, but we still have to come through this special exception process.
Cool.
I've been working on those materials because I'm really trying to get them out sooner for you guys. We
Thank
made it, I
you.
think, Monday on this meeting. Gonna keep getting
Which-
better.
For the record, is how much time city council has on their items.
So,
So we're at the 4 days.
it's
Mhm.
great.
Monday was,
We'll aim for, we used to have for a while Fridays the week before to
Yep.
give you guys the weekends. We'll aim for that, but I think drop dead will be Mondays from now on.
Cool. That's great.
that's great.
I'm not looking at it on the weekends, so.
Yeah, and that's what we.
Fine.
There were a couple times at 1 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. I was like, oh, I'll get this agenda out. I'm like, who is gonna read it?
Not me.
So
Insomniac planning commissioners. Oh my gosh.
just waiting.
Do you know, have you had a chance to talk to Lisa about where we might be with advertising the vacancy that
Mhm.
we have?
We have, Lisa did have some updates, is profiling her replug. I think we've expanded that to social media where it had not been before.
Mhm.
But it should be being replugged and was actively plugged, never had gone away in some of our normal advertising spaces. And I apologize for not having it on top of my head, all of those of which she was using, but yes, as of Tuesday, we had an update that they were still plugging.
Great, great.
Not really receiving applications though.
No, and prior to the meeting, we were kind of teasing. There's so many people in the community right now, just from my understanding, that are really actively trying to pursue the county's planning commission. While that is a really valid body, we're over here too, and we'd love for your enthusiasm
You're
to
that
come here.
YouTube people.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of say. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're a shoe-in. You're already in.
Ready to be a planning commission.
But yes,
If you're considering running for local office, you should join the planning commission.
Mhm.
It's a great way to, one, develop a record of public service, and two, to just kind of understand the
Mhm.
sort of rules of engagement
Ins
of
and
a
outs.
public body and what's going on at the city level too. In particular, it is a city election year, so go for it, folks.
Yeah.
Come on.
the only thing, and this is what I've gotten most, is you do need to live within city limits.
Correct.
So the interest we've had, which has been great, has been from some folks that do live in the county.
Darn it.
Well,
Well, they can join the county planning commission
and
and
then
we can take the 4 people who live in city limits who are on this county
Right,
planning
and
commission.
it's still them. Mhm.
I give several of them a hard time
the
about
appropriate
that.
amount of grief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're just the chill little sister of
Yeah.
the big flashy, exciting county government.
But yeah, while there is a lot of excitement, I think if you really want to if you really do want to make effective change in the city,
Mhm.
now is the time to be on planning.
Yeah.
Commission. We're about to completely revitalize our land use code. I don't know a better time to really have your opinion and constituency effort seen.
I agree.
All right. That said, we will adjourn this meeting at 6:29 PM. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.